7 harsh truths about old age no one tells you. Have you ever wondered what no one tells you about getting older? Society often talks about the wisdom, experience, and freedom that come with age. But beneath the surface, there are harsh truths that many seniors face. Realities that often go unspoken until we experience them firsthand. One of the most difficult things about aging is that changes happen so gradually, we hardly notice them. A habit here, a small adjustment there, until suddenly we wake up feeling more isolated, unheard, or even powerless in our own lives. The truth is, some of the things we do every day might be pushing people away, making life harder, or holding us back from the happiness we deserve. Think about this. Have you ever seen an older adult who refuses to embrace new technology, only to end up feeling disconnected from family? Or a senior who stubbornly resists help, believing they don't need it until one day they do? These are not just personal choices. They are habits shaped by aging itself, and recognizing them is the first step toward change. But here's the good news. Aging doesn't have to be filled with regret, frustration, or loneliness. By understanding these hidden struggles early, we can take action, make small adjustments, and create a more fulfilling life for ourselves and our loved ones. In this video, we'll uncover 7 harsh truths about old age that no one tells you. And more importantly, we'll explore simple yet powerful ways to navigate them with confidence. If you find these insights valuable, please like and subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Story. Your support helps us share these important lessons with more people who need them. Now, let's dive into the first harsh truth, a reality that affects far more seniors than you might think. Complaining too much or a habit that can distance loved ones. Aging is no easy road. With each passing year, the body aches a little more, finances become a bigger concern, and family matters weigh heavier on the heart. It's natural to want to express these burdens. We've spent our lives offering advice and sharing experiences. But when every conversation turns into a storm of grievances, we may unknowingly be driving away the very people who love and care for us. Have you ever noticed how negativity spreads like wildfire? The more we dwell on what's wrong, the harder it becomes to see what's right. Our loved ones may cherish us deeply, but when every phone call or visit becomes a session of complaints, they may start feeling helpless, unsure of how to respond. Over time, this exhaustion can turn into avoidance, not because they don't care, but because they feel powerless against an endless tide of sorrow. And then, before we realize it, loneliness takes root, making us feel even more unheard and disconnected. But here's the truth. Connection thrives on balance. What if, for every complaint, we made it a habit to share something good? Imagine saying, "I barely slept last night," then adding, "But I had the most beautiful conversation with an old friend yesterday." Small moments of gratitude act like sunlight breaking through a cloudy sky. Think of gratitude as a muscle. The more we exercise it, the stronger it becomes. Even in the darkest of times, there is always a flicker of light. A warm cup of tea, a favorite song, the laughter of a grandchild. These tiny joys, when acknowledged, can shift our perspective. And the more we embrace them, the more others will want to share in our warmth. People are drawn to light. When we focus on hope, optimism, and appreciation, we invite love, companionship, and meaningful conversations into our lives. So, the next time you feel the urge to dwell on a frustration, ask yourself, is this the story I want to tell? Because the truth is, the stories we tell shape the relationships we keep. Number 2, expecting too much from family, a path to resentment or connection. We dedicated our lives to raising our children, wiping their tears, celebrating their successes, and making countless sacrifices for their happiness. So, isn't it natural to hope that they will always be there for us? That they will call frequently, visit often, and make us a priority in their busy lives? The truth is, life has a way of pulling people in different directions. Careers, children, and responsibilities demand their time and energy. It's not that they don't love us. It's simply that they are navigating their own journeys. Yet, without meaning to, we sometimes set silent expectations, unspoken hopes that they will reach out more, visit more, or show their appreciation in a way that mirrors our sacrifices. And when these expectations go unmet, disappointment creeps in, sometimes turning into resentment. Have you ever found yourself saying, "You never visit anymore?" Or, "I guess you're too busy for your old parents now"? Though these words may come from a place of longing, they can feel like a burden, making love seem like an obligation rather than something given freely. But love is not meant to be a debt to be repaid. It should be light, effortless, and filled with warmth. The more we frame our relationships around guilt, the more we push our loved ones away. Over time, they may hesitate to call or visit, not because they don't care, but because they feel they can never meet our expectations. So how do we break free from this cycle? Instead of focusing on what we lack, we can shift our attention to what we can create. What if, rather than waiting for joy to come from others, we built it for ourselves? Finding new hobbies, joining a community group, or nurturing friendships can bring fulfillment in ways we never imagined. Independence does not mean isolation. It means crafting a life rich with meaning, joy, and purpose. And here's the magic. When we are genuinely happy, our presence becomes something our family looks forward to, not something they feel duty-bound to maintain. Let love be an invitation, not an expectation. Number 3, ignoring health problems I risk not worth taking. It's just a little pain. It'll pass. How many times have we told ourselves this, brushing off discomfort as just another part of getting older? Many of us downplay our symptoms, convinced they are nothing to worry about. Others avoid seeing a doctor out of fear. What if the diagnosis is something serious? And some of us, not wanting to burden our loved ones, suffer in silence. But here's the hard truth. Ignoring small health concerns today can lead to bigger, more dangerous complications tomorrow. That nagging ache in your knee, the dizziness you brushed off, the occasional chest tightness you assumed was nothing? These could be your body's early warning signs, subtle whispers before they turn into urgent cries for help. Conditions like heart disease, diabetes, or arthritis often start with minor discomfort, but if left unchecked, they can spiral into serious health crises. And once a problem worsens, recovery becomes much more difficult. So why do we wait? Why do we gamble with our well-being? The truth is, prioritizing our health is not a sign of weakness. It's an act of strength. Going to the doctor is not an inconvenience, nor is it a burden to our families. If anything, taking care of ourselves is the greatest gift we can give to those who love us. The path to good health does not require drastic changes. It starts with small, mindful steps. Schedule routine checkups, listen to what your body is telling you, and seek help before discomfort turns into suffering. A simple test today could prevent years of hardship down the road. After all, health is not just about adding years to our lives, it's about adding life to our years. Number 4. Stubbornness and resistance to change, a path to isolation or growth. Change can be unsettling, especially when we have spent a lifetime doing things a certain way. The world around us moves at a relentless pace. New technology emerges, communication evolves, and social norms shift. For many, these rapid changes feel overwhelming, frustrating, or even unnecessary. After all, if what we have always done worked just fine, why change now? Yet, while clinging to the familiar brings comfort, outright resisting change can lead to unintended consequences. One of the greatest risks of refusing to adapt is isolation. Today, technology is more than just a convenience. It is the bridge that connects families across distances. Video calls replace front porch visits, text messages take the place of handwritten letters, and social media keeps us informed about our loved ones' lives. If we reject these modern tools, we may find ourselves on the outside looking in, missing out on conversations, milestones, and the simple joys of staying connected. But here's the truth. Embracing change does not mean abandoning tradition. It is not about discarding the past. It is about enriching our present. Small steps can make all the difference. Try sending a text to a grandchild, ask a loved one to show you how to join a video call, or explore a new hobby that introduces you to fresh experiences. Growth does not have to be overwhelming. It simply begins with an open mind. By choosing to adapt, we do more than just keep up with the times. We strengthen our relationships, continue learning, and embrace life with curiosity rather than fear. The choice is ours, to resist and grow distant, or to engage and stay connected. Because in the end, life is not about holding on to the past. It is about moving forward with the people who matter most. Number 5. Talking too much about the past, a conversation or a monologue. As the years go by, the past often feels more alive than the present. Old memories resurface like cherished treasures, and we long to share them. Stories of childhood adventures, hard-earned lessons, and moments that shaped who we are. But if every conversation becomes a journey down memory lane, we risk losing our audience. Younger generations, though they care deeply, also want to share their own experiences. If they feel unheard, they may slowly pull away, leaving us wondering why conversations feel more distant than before. This does not mean our stories lack meaning, far from it. They hold wisdom, humor, and history. The key is balance. Imagine a seesaw. When one side is too heavy, the other struggles to stay engaged. The same is true in conversation. If we always begin with, "When I was your age," it may feel like a lecture. But if we start with, "Tell me about your day," we open the door to connection. A simple shift can change everything. Asking about their interests, listening to their struggles, and engaging in their world makes room for a real exchange. When we give space for their voices, they will be more eager to hear ours. True connection is built on reciprocity. By weaving our past with the present and embracing dialogue over monologue, we create conversations filled with warmth, curiosity, and mutual understanding. After all, the best stories are the ones we share together. Number 6. Hoarding useless stuff, holding on or letting go. Over the years, we collect more than just memories. We gather objects, keepsakes, and trinkets that remind us of the past. Old clothes, broken appliances, stacks of newspapers. Each item holds a story, a moment in time we are reluctant to part with. Letting go can feel like erasing pieces of our journey, making decluttering an emotional and overwhelming task. And so we hold on to things just in case. But what happens when our cherished belongings become burdens? A house filled with clutter is not just inconvenient, it can be dangerous. Piles of unused items create tripping hazards, making it harder to move freely and safely. Beyond physical risks, clutter can cloud the mind, turning a home into a place of stress rather than comfort. Instead of offering warmth, the space around us begins to feel suffocating, weighed down by objects that no longer serve us. And then there is the unseen burden, the one we leave behind for our loved ones. What may seem precious to us can become an overwhelming responsibility for family members to sort through in the future. The path to a clutter-free life does not require drastic measures. It starts with a single step. Choose one drawer, one shelf, one box. Ask yourself, does this bring me joy today? If not, consider letting it go. Take photos of sentimental items, donate what can be useful to others, and embrace the space you create. After all, memories do not live in objects. They live within us. And by releasing the unnecessary, we open the door to a lighter, more peaceful way of living. Number 7. Letting fear of the future take over a life half-lived. What if my health fails? What if I run out of money? What if I become a burden to my family? These thoughts creep in like shadows, lingering in the quiet moments of our days. The uncertainty of the future can feel overwhelming, filling our minds with fear. And when fear takes hold, it steals something precious, the ability to truly live. Instead of embracing the present, we find ourselves constantly waiting, bracing for challenges that may never come. But here's the truth. Worrying does not change the future. It only steals the joy of today. Fear can be paralyzing, keeping us from experiences that bring meaning and happiness. It can push us into isolation, make us second-guess every decision, and create stress that weighs heavily on both the mind and body. How many beautiful moments have been lost simply because we were too busy worrying about what if instead of appreciating what is? The reality is that most of our fears never come true. And even when life throws challenges our way, we often discover that we are far stronger and more resilient than we believed. We have faced hardships before and come out on the other side. So why doubt our ability to do it again? Shifting from fear to purpose. The key to overcoming fear is not pretending it doesn't exist. It is learning to manage it. Instead of dwelling on the unknown, we can focus on what is within our control. Taking practical steps, whether it's creating a financial plan, having open conversations with loved ones, or prioritizing health, helps us feel prepared without being consumed by anxiety. But beyond preparation, the real antidote to fear is presence. Next time your mind drifts into worry, pause and shift your focus. Instead of asking, "What if something goes wrong?" ask, "What is something beautiful about today?" The warmth of the sun, the sound of laughter, a heartfelt conversation. These are the moments that make life rich. Life's unpredictability is not something to fear, but something to embrace. After all, if every day were guaranteed, wouldn't we take it for granted? Living fully, one step at a time. Aging is not about counting the years. It is about making the years count. The habits we cultivate shape the quality of our lives. Even small changes can lead to a more joyful, fulfilling existence. What if, instead of worrying, we chose to focus on connection? A simple phone call to a loved one, trying a new hobby, or taking a deep breath of gratitude can transform our mindset. You do not have to change everything overnight. The most profound transformations start with small, intentional steps. Pick just one habit to shift today, whether it's speaking more kindly to yourself, moving your body, or finding something to smile about. Small efforts practiced consistently lead to extraordinary changes over time. And if this message resonated with you, consider sharing it with someone who may need to hear it. A single thought can change a perspective, and a shared message can brighten someone's day. If you haven't already, subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Story for more insights on embracing our golden years with confidence, connection, and joy. Because no matter our age, life is meant to be lived, not feared.